when they confess, they are given life in prison, right? Some of them given life in prison. Well, this case, he was given life in prison instead of the death penalty. I feel like these people should be tortured. Sadly, it happened the way it happened, and it's sad that lives had to be cut short because of his selfishness. Hi guys, I am Jadine Love. Make sure to hit this subscribe button, select the bell icon, and like and share this video. I had researched this case in late 2020, and due to the current investigation into the disappearance of Donnelly Donaldson, I am led to talk about this case. As soon as I heard that she was last seen with her boyfriend and a mistress was involved, I immediately thought of the Watts family murder case. This week's video is about the Watts family, which consisted of Shanane Watts, age 34, a sales representative for a company called Thrive. She was 4 months pregnant. She was looking forward for this pregnancy because her husband really wanted a boy, and she was happy to make his dream come true. She was also all about family and making wonderful memories. Chris Watts, age 33, he was obviously the husband. He worked at an oil and gas industry, and they were married for 8 years. There was Cece and Bella Watts, age 3 and 4 respectively. In this video, you will be introduced to one of the biggest narcissists currently alive. If you didn't know what a poker face is, you will surely find out through this video. This is the face of a man who, minutes after murdering his family, contacted his children's school and unenrolled them. This is the face of a man who, minutes after murdering them, contacted a realtor and discussed the selling of their home. This is the face of Chris Watts, who days before hearing his daughter sing "Daddy, You're My Hero," messaged his darling girlfriend right after throwing them away and planned their future together. On August 13, 2018, a missing report was made by Shanane's best friend when she realized that Shanane hadn't responded to any of her messages throughout the early hours of the morning. In fact, Nicole and Shanane were away on a business trip for that weekend, and during that time, Nicole grew very concerned because Shanane was acting very distraught. She refused to eat or drink anything. She wasn't feeling well at all. She actually told Nicole that she was excited about the pregnancy. However, the prior week, Chris had blindsided her when he revealed that he wanted to separate. Normally, when you find out or when you have come to a revelation about something that represents disloyalty, one's appetite is usually affected negatively. I know for me, I can only talk for myself, my stomach goes on vacation and while I'm having the worst emotional party in my head. So I can completely understand what Shanane could have possibly been feeling around that time. So with this on Nicole's mind, she wanted to keep in close communication with Shanane after dropping her home at 2 a.m. in the morning of August 13. Nicole said that Shanane had a 9 a.m. doctor's appointment, and she was so concerned about the unusual non-response from Shanane. So she called the doctor's office and their mutual friends, but they all said the same thing, which was they hadn't seen or heard from her. She even contacted Chris, and he told her that Shanane took the kids on a play date. However, that didn't register well with her due to the information given to her by Shanane that weekend. Nicole also noticed that the car was still there, and the kids were at the age where they still needed to use their car seat, so she grew very puzzled and called 911.
This is Stacy. Cece, my name's Nicole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning last night because we were out of town together, and we were on the way back from the airport, and Cece was having issues, and she's pregnant, and I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning, and I've gone to her house, and her car's there, and stuff like that, but she won't answer the door, she won't answer phone calls, she won't answer text messages, and I'm just really, really concerned. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning, and she didn't go to it, and I don't know what to do. I've called him and talked to him, and he said that she went on a play date with her other 2 daughters, but, like, if she went on a play date, they're both in car seats. Why would she not take her car?
Perfectly understandable. Do you happen to know her?
When Chris arrived, he acted as if everything was normal. He ran towards the officer and shook his hand, then walked towards the garage door as if he didn't just kill them. The officers checked the house, and it was absolutely immaculate. Fun fact, most close-related murders are usually premeditated. So when we talk about premeditation, we can obviously see that he thought about the whole process after killing his family. So, after killing his family, he called his daughter's school and informed them that they will be homeschooled from now on. He also told Shannon's mother that same morning that she was at her friend's house and she didn't inform him of who she was visiting. He also called the real estate owner to discuss selling the house. Then he called his mistress and started planning their future together. While the police officers were examining the quiet and airy home, Chris thought it would be helpful to point out that the kids' blankets were gone. His aim was to make everyone believe that he was just as clueless as everyone else by playing innocent and taking part in the mission of helping the police officers locate Shanaine, Cece, and Bella after that cold-blooded, emotionless murder. The arrival of the police officers was so quick that he didn't even get home in time to remove any evidence. He was happily driving home thinking, I'm gonna start a new life. He didn't even have a full 24 hours to plan or what if the police get involved. He continued to play the I don't know where they are role and helped the search, and then alerted the police officers that the blankets were gone. Then he added that the kids didn't leave the house without the blankets ever. So, he was trying to convince the police officers that she took off with the kids. Seconds later, he realized, quote unquote, that she left her phone. Your evil will always catch up to you. And he played himself at that moment because if it weren't for Nicole, he would have gotten enough time to remove all of the obvious evidences, including the phone that she quote unquote left. Then Nicole noticed that her purse and her medication was still at the house. At this point, he realized that he didn't get rid of all of the evidence because why would she leave wherever he said that she had gone, to go over to her friend's house or to go on a play date with the kids and leave her phone, her purse, and her car? Like, make it make sense. Come on, Chris. Later, he shared that they had a small emotional argument in the morning before he left for work. His next door neighbor decided to give a helping hand, so he showed a footage from his surveillance camera at 5:17 a.m. of Chris backing out of his garage. Chris explained that he was unloading things out of the house for work. However, his neighbor mentioned that Chris was very suspicious and didn't trust him one bit. In fact, he told the police that Chris wasn't acting right. The neighbor was so brave and helpful, that he decided to pull the officers aside and whisper, Chris never forgets and acts the way that he was. And he never unloads things out of his garage. The police initiated an alert. Chris had no interest. The police started issuing flyers with the female's descriptions. Chris had absolutely no interest. Later that evening, his house was searched. In fact, one of the ladies from the police department said that the house was a little bit too immaculate to be normal. I will be showing a clip of, the little interview that they had with Chris Watt. And to me, it shows how emotionless and how much of a psychopath he is, because here he is mentioning that he wants his kids back and he doesn't know where they are, yet you just killed them like the day before and you did what you did with them. He was also taken into the police department for interrogation with the police that evening, where he lied about cheating and started bawling his eyes out when he spoke on the small emotional argument that they had. I emphasize small. He's so stupid. Like, come on, act right, dude, because nothing makes sense. It doesn't look good. But anyways, he's playing himself 100%. He's making a fool of himself without him knowing. He's just trying to lie. Backtrack a little bit. Shannon and her girls had spent 5 weeks with her parents, and during this time, she had to tell him continually to call his daughters as if she's a single parent, and she had to call his phone, and whenever she did call his phone, he would not respond, and he would make up excuses saying that he misses them a lot. But that doesn't make any sense. But, a liar will always come up with things and excuses that will never make any sense. But anyways, he did really well, with emotionally manipulating her and gaslighting her. And we all know that actions, speak louder than words any day. Nicole told the police that Shannon complained about their relationship falling apart and how things weren't the same. In fact, she mentioned that the relationship was becoming more like it did when and after they got married, because the parents didn't want them together and they didn't attend the wedding. Apparently, they didn't like her, claiming she was too bossy. And his mother said that she wasn't good enough for him because Shannon was taking him away from them. To all the coupled people out there, have you ever been told this by a parent? Doesn't this kind of come across as, controlling? And, Chris kind of comes across as a mama's boy, and that mother, I don't know. To me, that doesn't sound like something you should say. You should be happy that your son is out making a life for his woman. But anyways, it was said that she didn't like her. So she could say anything at this point. On August 15, he failed his polygraph test, and this is a 90% accurate test, and his breathing wasn't normal. Then he tried to justify his breathing by confessing about cheating, saying his mistress took his breath away, but he didn't kill his wife. He wanted to let them know that he didn't kill his wife, but the mistress took his breath away. Yeah, he tried to make sense of that, but, Then he requested for his dad to join him in the interrogation room, where he created a sub-story while bawling his eyes out. It was reported that his eyes were dry for his children, and he didn't shed not one tear about his kids. I mean, that's what they call a psychopath. Like, really, your kids? He then got the idea about pinning the murder on his defenseless wife, claiming that she killed the kids as soon as the interrogator hypothetically asked, "Did your wife do anything?" Chicks can be crazy, So I guess that gave him the idea that, he could come up with something. He immediately came up with the most ridiculous story, against his defenseless wife, at this point. And he claimed that she killed the kids, then he got into rage and killed her. He tried to make himself look like the nice guy by saying that he wasn't going to protect her anymore. Like, I'm not going to protect her anymore. I can't protect her anymore. Well, sir, it doesn't make any sense at all, because if you did love your children, and if you did love your wife, and even if there was an altercation between you and your wife after she so-called killing your wife, you would report that it was self-defense or whatever. After witnessing that, you got into rage and your children are dead. Why wouldn't you? Where's the bodies, huh? Where's the bodies? Why wouldn't you tell them that? So it's like he really doesn't he's not smart. And you have some killers and psychopaths that really think about, plot their actions before doing it and think about what they're going to say before they do it or say it. This guy is literally making no sense on top of no sense. Only a coward lies against his defenseless wife. If she killed her kids, why didn't she report it? If you cared so much about your children, where are they? Why did you act like you didn't care? Why did you act like you didn't know where your family was, since you really miss them and you just want them to come home? The police officers got a hold of the mistress and brought her in for interrogation, where she disclosed that she met Chris at work. He told her that he had 2 daughters. He was separated, soon divorced, and he said nothing about a pregnant wife. So the relationship developed into friendship, and it concerned her that Shannon and the kids couldn't be located, and this made her very scared, because she's like, what kind of guy, what kind of relationship am I really getting myself into? The story wasn't adding up, so the police officers applied pressure on him. Then he finally confessed the truth, stating that he had killed the 4 of them, and then he gave details on the location of each body. He stated that Chris stated that he drove to his oil and gas workplace and dug a shallow hole for his pregnant wife. Then he climbed the steps of the huge oil tank and threw his 2 daughters in one by one. Chris stated that he didn't know that his marriage was bad until he fell in love with Nikki, his co-worker. He had a feeling that she knew that he was going out with somebody else, that he was seeing somebody else, and while she was away on her trip that weekend, he had planned to kill her that night when they were in bed. Chris Watts added that he suffocated Shanae, but later said that she didn't fight back because she was quoting a scripture from the Bible. Yeah, come on. This, my friend, is called the crime of passion. To suffocate someone is the one of the worst crimes. Chris continued his confession and revealed that Bella came into their room and asked, "What's wrong with Mummy? Is Mummy okay?" He dragged Shannon, he wrapped her up in the sheets and then dragged her in the vehicle, right? And put his 2 daughters in the car. The little girls hugged their blanket during the 45 minutes drive. I bet there was so much going through their minds at that time, like, what's really going on with Mummy? Why isn't Mummy saying anything? Why does Daddy seem so strange? They were probably holding each other's hands in the car. They probably knew what was going to happen, to be honest. Then, once they arrived, he, dug the hole for Shanae and put her in there. Then he suffocated them with their blankets, the same blankets that he said earlier on to the police that Shanae had taken them with and that they would never leave without their blanket. He suffocated Cece first, and she begged, and she was begging, "Daddy, no, Daddy, no." And just to think about how they were struggling for survival, it really hurts me. These are babies, your babies. They looked up to him. They called him hero. They made him feel like, the best person on earth. Yet for one girl that had nothing to do with the crime, you wanted to kill them for. I can just imagine the confusion and the terror these little girls must have felt, having their father suffocate them to death. This is just a terrible way to leave the earth, especially as baby girls. They didn't ask to be here, and they were taken out in such a horrible way. He was charged with life in prison, murder in the first degree as to Shanae, murder in the first degree as to Bella, murder in the first degree as to Celeste, unlawful termination of pregnancy as to Nico, the unborn son, and 3 counts of unlawful tampering with the deceased bodies. He did not face death penalty because he pleaded guilty, and he was afraid to die. He was given the option to plead guilty or face the death penalty, and he chose to plead guilty because he was afraid to die. Yet you chose to kill these wonderful people and you were afraid to die? Thank you for watching this video. I don't know if you guys see how similar this case is to the one that is currently happening with the investigation of the disappearance of Donaldson. I don't know if you guys see the similarity, but I see it, and I hope you enjoy this makeup look. I hope that you tune into the next video. Subscribe, please. Let me know if you like this look, what you think about the case, what you think. Sometimes I really think that murderers should not, whether they they confess, because when they confess they are given life in prison, right? Some of them given life in prison. Well, this case, he was given life in prison instead of the death penalty. I feel like these people should be tortured, slowly ripping off their skin, slowly peeling off their nails, slowly taking out their eyelashes and peeling off every inch of their skin so that they can just, because how could you kill 4 of your close family members, your wife and your 3 children? You know, you could have just simply asked for a divorce, and if she didn't want a divorce, just deal with it the rough way, right? Well, it is easier said than done, so it's best if I just keep my mouth shut in relation to that. But I'm happy that he got life in prison, and that this is what I was told as well, that he is not having the best time in prison. He isolates himself, and the reason why as well is because there's levels in jail, there's levels in prison. So because of the crime that he has committed, he's looked down on in prison, right? And he's threatened a lot of the time, and he's not what did I say? People don't hang around with him because there's levels to prison. Even though prison is where all bad people go, there's levels, I guess, to the type of crime that is committed, and he is isolated and he is threatened and he is not having the best time of his life in prison because news goes around and everybody knows who he is. But yeah, and I hope this happens to any criminal that does anything like this. Yeah, and sadly it happened the way it happened, and you know, it's sad that lives had to be cut short because of his selfishness. Simple. And to lie about it and say, you know, that you really want them to come home and you don't know where they are, you're really psychotic and stupid. And there's so many other people, there's so many more people in this world like that. For example, the case that's happening in Jamaica right now, he is, from what I heard, he was arrested, but what lies is he gonna say against his defenseless ex-girlfriend now, well, we don't know. Well, yeah, obviously, what lies is he going to say against her now? Because she's obviously defenseless, so he can say anything. Yeah, I hope you love this makeup look. Please give it a thumbs up. Give my makeup look a thumbs up if you love this look, if you want to see more different kinds of, because this is a different kind of look that I've never really done before, because it's different, right? It is completely different. Tell me if you like it, tell me if you love it in the link below now. And yeah, subscribe to this video as well. And yeah, subscribe, make sure you subscribe, at least help me get to let's say 180 subscribers. I believe now I'm at like 162, so get me to 180 at least, please. So share this video and let me get some subscribes, please, and thank you. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you watching. Let me know if you like this look. Do you think I did a good job? I know I did a good job. And yeah, leave a comment in the comment section and share the video. Thank you. Goodbye.